mass firings of the most critical government employees has been the defining action of Elon Musk's time in the White House. From the CDC to the FAA, he has cried DEI or operated under the guise of waste, fraud, and abuse when we actually know what he's trying to cover up. The fact that he's taking essential spending from agencies to put it in his own pocket or is going after the agencies that hold him and his corrupt companies accountable. But as is always the case when you join Donald Trump, Elon Musk is getting a taste of his own medicine. Whenever you come in Donald Trump's inner circle, you are bound to be screwed, and it's what happened to Elon Musk today when Donald Trump fired him from his job of firing over a post on Truth Social. Elon has gotten what he deserves. I can't wait to get into it, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, Elon has been on a bad streak lately, so before we get into that post, I want to hear how judges and the American people are responding to him from Rachel Maddow right here.
We are barely 6 weeks in, and this already is quite the theme. They are trying all sorts of incredibly reckless, incredibly expensive, incredibly ill-advised things. And then those things fail because they can't work or because they can't handle the pushback against them, or they face lawsuits and court orders because these things are obviously illegal, or they're just too stupid to live. And so then they stop doing these things and they cave and they try to pretend they weren't doing them at all. We're only 6 weeks in, and we're already seeing this for military flights for deportations and sending immigrants to Guantanamo for some reason, right? Those things already appear to be over as of today. Also, this one today. Headline: Trump agency pulls 443 sites off market in real estate reversal. Real estate reversal? What? This is from Bloomberg News. Quote, at 2 p.m. Tuesday, so yesterday, the GSA posted a list of 443 properties it was considering for sale, an inventory that ranged from a toll booth in El Paso to the FDA's research campus in Silver Spring, Maryland. Trump tried to fire the chief of the Merit Systems Protection Board. A court ordered her reinstated. Today, that Merit Systems Protection Board ordered the reinstatement of more than 5,000 people who work for the USDA, for the U.S. Department of Agriculture. 5,000 people who were illegally mass fired by Trump. Those more than 5,000 people must now be reinstated for at least the next 45 days. That ruling comes after Trump tried to fire another person he's not allowed to fire, Hampton Dellinger, who heads up the federal office that oversees whistleblower protections and civil service protections. Trump tried to fire him, too. That is apparently illegal. Dellinger has fought it vociferously in the courts, including one trip already to the Supreme Court, and it looks like another trip to the Supreme Court is probably on the way. But in the meantime, while he has been reinstated, he told the Merit Systems Protection Board to weigh in on the mass firings at USDA, which appeared to be blatantly illegal. That board did weigh in on them. They had to fight their own firings along the way to get there, but they fought them, and now those more than 5,000 workers at USDA must be reinstated. A ruling by a federal judge in California on the illegality of mass firings carried out by Trump's Office of Personnel Management. That ruling appears to have stopped Trump for now from going ahead with his plan to fire more than 5,000 people from the Department of Defense. Quote, the Pentagon's planned firing of 5,400 employees has been temporarily delayed after a federal court decision blocking such dismissals.
We are seeing pushback on the ground and in the courts to Elon Musk's mass firings, to his attack on the most essential elements of our government. And like I said, now it is not just from upset Americans or judges who know that Elon's attacks are illegal. It is Donald Trump, his co-president, his best buddy, who is firing Elon. He deserves it, and we're going to check it out. Trump puts new limits on Elon Musk. The president convened his secretaries with Musk to clarify power. Donald Trump convened his cabinet in person on Thursday to deliver a message. You're in charge of your departments, not Elon Musk. According to two administration officials, Trump told top members of his administration that Musk has empowered to make recommendations to the departments, but not to issue unilateral decisions on staffing and policy. Musk was also in the room. The meeting followed a series of mass firings and threats to government workers from the billionaire Tesla founder, who helms the Department of Government Efficiency that created broad uncertainty across the federal government and its workforce. DOGE's actions have faced ferocious resistance in court and criticisms from Democratic lawmakers and some Republicans. The president's message represents the first significant move to narrow Musk's mandate. According to Trump's new guidance, DOGE and its staff should play an advisory role, but cabinet secretaries should make final decisions on personnel, policy, and pacing of implementation. Musk joined the conversation and indicated that he was on board with Trump's directive. According to one person familiar with the meeting, Musk acknowledged that DOGE had made some missteps, a message he shared earlier this week with members of Congress. Trump stressed that he wants to keep good people in government and not to eject capable federal workers en masse. But his administration has, in recent weeks, fired tens of thousands of federal workers across numerous agencies and a series of blanket terminations. A federal judge and the chair of Federal Civil Service Board have both concluded that the terminations were not tied to performance issues and may have violated civil service laws. It is unclear whether the new guidance will result in laid-off workers getting rehired. Trump posted about the meeting on Truth Social after this story posted, promising to hold similar meetings every 2 weeks. The golden age of America has just begun. Over the past 6 weeks, our administration has delivered on promises like no administration before it, always putting America first. DOGE has been an incredible success, and now that we have my cabinet in place, I have instructed the secretaries and leadership to work with DOGE on cost-cutting measures and staffing. As the secretaries learn about and understand the people working for the various departments, they can be very precise as to who will remain and who will go. We say the scalpel rather than the hatchet. The combination of them, Elon, DOGE, and other great people will be able to do things at a historic level. We just had a meeting with most of the secretaries, Elon and others, and it was very positive. It's very important that we cut levels down to where they should be, but it's also important to keep the best and most productive people. We're going to have these meetings every 2 weeks until that aspect of this very necessary job is done. The relationship between everyone in that room are extraordinary. They all want to get the exact same thing done in the exact same place, which is simply to make America great again. Yeah, I'm rolling my eyes at that. So Elon is officially on the outs. He cannot fire people en masse. He is an advisor, but we know who's going to have the final say. And although I don't want to put a ton of trust in RFK Jr. or Kash Patel or Pete Hegseth, these are already people who have publicly opposed mass firings at their agencies. Sure, Donald Trump wants to, quote unquote, fake trim the fat, and he wants to attack these government workers. But what I can tell you is these agency heads do not want to have less power. Sure, they want to cause problems in the government because that's what this is all about, but ultimately, they don't want to take power away from themselves and give it to Elon. So I bet you there will be more opposition because we have already seen it. And I am sure that Elon, although he's totally fine with this, is going to have some problems pretty soon. It's also important to note that Trump keeps on saying everyone's got such a great relationship. Everyone's so happy with each other. You don't really have to do that if everyone is happy with each other. The civil war in the Trump administration is already coming about, and I can't wait to see more of it, so their plans ultimately crumble. But it will also be upon us to make sure that civil war happens by calling them out every single day. And Senator Chris Murphy did some of that right here.
Thanks, Chuck, for gathering us here today. So nobody wants this. Nobody in America wants the destruction of public education. The plan to eliminate the Department of Education is wildly unpopular in this country, except with a handful of people on the fringy right. So the question is, why are they doing it? Listen, I think Bernie's point is really important, right? Billionaires do not need public schools. Billionaires don't understand the magic that happens in public schools. The billionaires that are in charge of our government right now send their kids to the most elite private schools, and if every public school disappears in this country, they will still be able to get their kids an education. And it's consistent with the entire way that they are approaching the first 6 months of this administration. Billionaires don't need Medicaid. So to them, it doesn't matter if Medicaid disappears and rural hospitals close and addiction treatment centers shutter their doors, because the billionaires will still get their health care. They talk about Social Security being a Ponzi scheme. They're shutting down Social Security offices around the country because they don't need Social Security. They're billionaires. They're never going to need a Social Security check like millions of American seniors do in order to put food on the table. So the billionaire mindset is just different than ordinary average Americans. And that's why to them, public education doesn't matter. But to Senator Schumer's point, here's the other reason why. All that matters right now is the billionaire and corporate tax cut. All that matters is hoarding as much money, stealing as much money from middle class and poor families in this country so that they can pass that money along to the billionaires, the millionaires, and the corporations. Everything that they are doing is about making sure that they shrink the parts of government that help regular people so that they can pass along more benefit and more help to their billionaire friends. But then here's the last piece of the story of why. The billionaire class, the corporate class, the private equity class, they are sick to death that they don't have their hands inside the Department of Education Treasury, that they can't get their hands on our schools like they've gotten their hands into our healthcare system and into every other aspect of our economy. What they want to do is to sell off our public schools to the highest bidder, right? The voucher program that they're talking about, that they will be more easily able to implement if the Department of Education is gone, is really about just making it easier for the billionaire and corporate class to be able to buy up our schools so that they can make money off of it like they make money off of the Medicare program, like they make money off of so many other aspects of our government. So if the Department of Education closes, it's going to hurt millions of families in this country. It's just going to enable the theft of resources from regular families to pad the pockets of the billionaires. But it is also likely to result in you waking up one day and finding out that your local elementary school that your kids go to is owned by a private equity firm on the other side of the country and is being run for profit instead of being run for the education of your kids. So this is deeply unpopular. Nobody wants the Department of Education eliminated, and it's really important for us to explain to the American people why it's happening.
We have to be on this message 24/7 all the time. Call them out, call them out, call them out, hammer it home. That is what we are going to be doing on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.